welcome to Hometown Homestead. Winter may bring cold weather, but it's the perfect time to embrace the comforts of homesteading, even in a small town, in our small, cozy little townhouse. In today's video, we'll focus on 3 things: baking homemade bread, planning next summer's garden, and crafting simple holiday decorations. These activities bring warmth and purpose to the quieter months, even in a small space like mine. So grab a cup of tea and let's get started. Baking bread is one of my favorite homesteading traditions, especially during the winter. It's such a simple process, yet so rewarding. The smell of fresh bread baking in the oven makes any house feel like a home. Winter might put the garden to sleep, but it's the best time to start dreaming about next summer's harvest. Planning ahead not only makes the process smoother, but also helps me focus on what matters most, like growing food for my family in our small space. I always draw out a garden plan to make best use of my space. Whether you're growing in raised beds, containers, or directly in the ground, having a layout helps you avoid overcrowding and makes planting so much easier in the spring. I also use this time to make a checklist of supplies and tasks for spring. Planning these things now means fewer surprises later. Planting a garden during the winter is like planting the first seed of the season, only on paper. It keeps me motivated and reminds me that warmer, greener days are ahead. With the bread still rising and the garden plans ready to go, let's move on to some simple holiday crafts. I love creating homemade decorations that bring a natural, rustic charm to the home. One of my favorites is a dried orange garland. Start by slicing oranges about a 1/4 inch thick. Lay them out on a baking sheet and bake them at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for about 3 hours. The house will smell amazing while they dry. Or, if you have a dehydrator like I do, set your instructions according to your booklet. And use your scraps on the stove as a simmer pot. Another simple project is a homemade wreath. I'm using clippings from my backyard, some twine, and a few decorative oranges. You don't need a lot to make something festive and personal. These handmade decorations bring so much warmth and personality to your space. Plus, they're a fun way to get creative during the holiday season.
Oh, but not those.
Can you grab the other end?
Yeah.
Thank you, Raven.
I love Lilo and Stitch.
Us too. How's it look, Rylan?
It looks great.
Back to the bread. The dough has risen beautifully, and now it's time to shape it into a loaf. Place it into a greased pan, and let's rise for another 30 minutes while the oven preheats to 375. After baking for about 30 to 35 minutes, the bread should be golden brown and smell absolutely delicious. Let it cool for a few minutes before slicing it. There's something so satisfying about homemade bread. It's simple, comforting, and the perfect addition to any meal. Winter might be quieter on the homestead, but it's the perfect time to focus on the little things that bring joy and purpose. From baking fresh bread to planting next summer's garden and crafting homemade decorations, these moments remind me why I love this lifestyle so much. Thank you so much for joining me today on Hometown Homestead. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments What are your favorite winter homesteading traditions?